Hi, welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 364, Thor, the Mighty Avenger. My name is Eric.
And I'm Jason.
Hi.
Hey, buddy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, first show of the new year.
Yeah. Is this our 10th year?
Holy shit, it will be.
I just thought of that.
Yeah.
Because I think we started in 08. I'm
Yep,
pretty sure.
August 08.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Super crazy. Why are we still doing this?
Well, we wanted to stop, but the demand was so high.
Oh, that's right.
Like people, it's like when Kiss tried to
Yeah.
break up and they sold all their instruments.
Right.
People bought them more instruments. Painted their faces while they were sleeping.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah. It's like, same thing. People keep painting their faces while we're asleep. Well, yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah, wow.
I almost feel like we should do something in August to celebrate.
We'll take that month off.
Okay, sounds good.
We deserve a fucking vacation from you people.
No worries. One of us will have a nervous breakdown of some sort by then.
It's
due.
It's an even year, isn't it? Yeah. It does seem to happen in the even years. Well, shit. So yeah. But yeah, we started off the new year right by reading some fucking comic books.
Hell yeah.
Because we like to do that.
That is a thing that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Mighty Thor.
Mighty Thor.
Or the Mighty Avenger. Whatever.
Thor the Mighty Avenger.
That's what it was.
Yes, the Mighty Thor is something different.
Yeah, that's different. That's the one with Jane Foster.
That's a.k.a. Thor chick.
Oh, that's... Don't you hate that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these lady characters taking over our comics.
Ruining our male-dominated culture.
Right. But here we just get some good old straight manly Thor.
Yeah, there's a dick in there.
Yep.
Just like we like it.
That is the tagline of this book. There's a dick in there.
That's great. Oh. No, we're joking.
Yeah. No.
We're not. We're not. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
We totally don't care what gender any hero is.
No. Just as long as it's a good story. That's all I care about.
That's true.
And
I do think it's weird when the Thor is called or the title is called something man, but then there's a female character.
Sure.
I think that's a little strange.
When has that happened?
Invincible Iron Man.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah. But I feel like that's not the only time, but that's the only one that springs to mind.
Yeah.
But I always think that's a little odd. It's like, I could see maybe the first issue where, maybe there's like a transition of power or suit or whatever.
Right.
But I think it's weird when 8 issues in, it's called Iron Man and it's Riri Jones or whatever her name is.
Right.
But other than that, I couldn't care less who's in the suit.
Right. At the same time, though, I kind of wish that they would have just gone full throttle with it and just called her Iron Man.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, I guess that's true if the identity is secret.
Right.
Then why would they,
right.
why not just call it Iron Man still? But.
Right. But no, she's Ironheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The whole swapping out characters thing is weird anyway. An old hat. Because they never stick with it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It's like, you can tell it doesn't really mean much because you're not like, wow, this is really shaking things up. It's like, as soon as sales dip, it's just,
Yep.
It's back to
the
old thing.
Regular old Thor Odinson will be back wielding the hammer again.
It's true.
And Jane Foster will, I guess she'll probably be dead. Spoiler for current plot lines in Thor.
Yeah. Yep.
A book I don't read, but I have heard very good things about.
I've read a few issues and I thought it was really good, but I never kept up with it because, there's 1,000 comics that I think are worth reading,
Exactly.
but not worth devoting my time to.
Exactly.
When I could do stuff like this, pure gold
Sure.
for the masses.
Right?
I could...
This is your true calling.
Yeah. I mean, I realize it's big of me because I could be reading books right now, but we are warming the frozen hearts of our listeners right now.
Yes. I apologize. I am not doing well.
You're sick.
Got a little bit of a cough.
Yeah.
And having some slight difficulty breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, all the other crap.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway. Thor, the Mighty Avenger.
So this book is as old as Gutter Trash, I believe.
Not quite. It's a few years younger.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I believe this came out in 2010, 2011.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was 08. Yeah.
Nope. At least towards the end of the series, I recall seeing some ads for 2011 era mega events in Marvel history.
Oh, those events that changed lives and,
Yep.
and that we all still fondly remember.
Yeah.
What were they?
I can tell you for sure one of them was Age of X.
What was that? A thing?
I don't know. All I know is that there is still a poster up for it at Mavericks.
Yeah. We're trying to remind you.
From 7 years ago now.
Well, if we don't remember our mistakes, we're doomed to repeat them. So anyone who may have accidentally bought that book, we want to remind them. I think we still have an Onslaught is here sticker somewhere. So. But this book was not based on any event. This was like its own thing.
It was its own thing. I think possibly created to capitalize a little bit on the movie.
Okay, so it was the same year.
Would have come out around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But
they have to do that, though. Every time there's a superhero movie, all of a sudden there's 3 new miniseries revolving around those characters.
And this sort of takes a fresh look at Thor's origin.
Yeah.
At least his origin as a superhero, not as a god or the son of Odin.
Right.
Yeah. And mostly every issue is standalone.
Right.
I think the first 2 issues are a continuing storyline, and the last 2 issues are sort of a continuing storyline.
Yeah.
But for the most part, every issue reads well on its own.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, but then there's like a thread that connects them all.
Well, sure. Yeah, it's like as if it were a classically formatted superhero comic.
Right. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, it feels very. It has like a very old school feel to it. Like,
yes.
Like maybe late Silver, early Bronze Age kind of feel to it.
I would say that, but modern enough to not be, at times some older comics can be tough to read.
This is true. Yeah, this one has a much quicker pace than those old comics.
Yes, it does.
But it does sort of have the same tone as far as, like it almost feels like it was purposely written that it would be engaging to anyone in the like 12 to 30 range.
It does feel like a young skewing book.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly okay by me.
Yeah. Well, my last name is Young. So yeah.
Yeah.
It was made for me.
Seriously, I really apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, so basically he finds himself on Earth for not the first time, but the first time as like a hero, sort of.
Sort of. I mean, what we know of the Marvel character of Thor as a member of the Avengers, superhero and around. This is the tale of how that basically all got started. but he is still, the mythological god of thunder, and the Norse gods had visited Earth once upon a time,
Right.
Thousands upon thousands of years ago. And it's touched on a little bit, but
Right. Yeah, he mentions having been here before and
right.
didn't think he was remembered.
Yep.
So he was surprised to see his name and maybe an artistic rendering of him in a book.
Sure. There's a day of the week named after that guy.
Friday.
Yeah. Because weekends start on Friday. Something like that. I don't know. It's not the phrase.
Thor's a big fan of weekends.
Yep. And The Weeknd, the terrible band.
Yeah. And Vampire Weekend, which is weird.
Uh-huh. Also, terrible band.
Don't put Weekend in your band name.
Nope.
But put it in your movie, Weekend at Bernie's. Fucking great.
Can't argue with that.
Man, Vampire Weekend at Bernie's. Now there's a movie.
I would absolutely watch that movie.
I would too.
Yeah.
Let's go see if there's like a fan film on YouTube. But okay, so Thor, Mighty Avenger. So we find out pretty early on that Thor has been sent here as basically a punishment, just much like all of humanity, for doing something that he doesn't even know what he did because his memory has been affected somehow.
Yes. It's taking a lot of the classic Thor story from Stan and Jack,
Right.
which that is part of it, but then revamping it for the modern day, and God, this is a terrible episode so far, isn't it?
I've been laughing.
All right.
Because the classic thing is, so for Thor, it's like when Lucy and Charlie Brown play football in Peanuts. The classic thing you get is Odin getting pissed at Thor and sending him to Earth,
Right. To teach him humility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is what he is here on Earth to do.
Mm-hmm.
But he has been separated from his hammer, which I am not even going to try to pronounce in my current state.
It's Bobby.
His hammer, Bobby. But he is weak and powerless and dying without it.
All right.
And he needs to find it. And so that's sort of where we open up the first issue, is him attempting to get his hammer.
Right. It's got to have that hammer.
Gotta have it. It's hammer time.
Yeah. It's always hammer time when you're Thor.
Yep. Or MC Hammer hawking really stupid household goods.
I know, that's sad.
So I mean, it's basically just just his early adventures on Earth, learning how to deal with his current situation, and being taken in by Jane Foster, and just having some run-ins with some other Marvel characters.
His very first meetings with characters like Namor and Iron Man and Wasp and
Giant
Man. Yeah.
And he fights a couple villains here and there, and just tries to learn what life is like on Earth as a human in the 21st century.
Right. That's the cool thing about this book too, is like it has a really odd sense of atmosphere and environment, because you don't, like, I don't know if it says what year it is, but they're using cell phones and things like that, but also everything kind of looks like it might be 20, 30 years before that was like a big thing. I don't know. Like it, especially like Iron Man's suit looks very old, and
Right.
And so some things remind me of the 60s in here, and then some things remind me of the 2000s.
I like when someone can successfully mash those styles up. Yeah,
and it doesn't just look anachronistic; it looks purposed.
Right. But that is just part of the amazing skill of Chris Somney.
He's good.
He is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd definitely put him in a top 100 list of comic artists of all time.
Which sounds like you might be insulting, but I mean,
there are a lot of great comic artists.
You like a lot of comic artists.
Yeah.
I mean, we could each probably name 1,000 comic artists. So
yeah. Want to start?
All of that could make for a more interesting episode. We'll refrain for now.
All right. That'll be our special for our 10th anniversary.
Yeah. She'll just be us naming them in alphabetical order. Like, oh, we forgot Simon Bisley. We're in the R's. We need to go back. He belongs in the B's. Let's start over. Art Adam. Oh, man. It's going to be great.
Oh, boy. We have fun.
We do. We have fun. And that's why we're still here 10 years later.
Yeah.
It's obviously not because we're good at this. It's because we fucking enjoy it.
Exactly.
It's like when I play pool. Like, I'm not good at pool.
Oh, I'm terrible at it.
But I fucking love doing it.
Same here.
So, this is us playing pool. If you don't like it, go to another table.
Exactly. And also, we don't need your tips. We're going to play how we play.
Oh, but we'll take monetary tips.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Yeah,
we'll
we do need those
yes,
tips.
yes,
we
yes.
actually really need those.
And I'd say we deserve it.
Yeah, right?
Clearly.
So do you have a favorite issue of this book, since they are kind of like, it's not like one giant story where, you just have to pick a favorite scene or whatever. They do kind of have their own little mini adventures.
Yeah. I think my favorite one is, I'm going to look up the issue number because I don't remember them offhand.
I know which one mine is, and I'm going to guess you're going to say the same thing.
All right, mine is issue 4.
Is it the one with Volstagg? And
Yes.
Yes, that is my favorite too.
Yep.
Captain Britain.
Captain Britain, yes.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm a giant fan of Captain Britain, always have been.
Sure. I mean, you are from England.
Sure.
Most people don't know that.
My accent is very subtle.
You've been Americanized over
yeah,
here.
you can hear it in certain words.
Right. He gets really excited whenever there's fish and chips on sale.
Oh, absolutely. And just when the season comes around, don't get me started on football.
You mean soccer?
No. Oh, damn Yanks. You wanker.
That was my favorite issue though.
Yeah, same.
And I started to say episode because this
Kind of episodic.
This totally reminds me of a cartoon. Like,
it could easily be, a Thor cartoon.
Yeah, it honestly has more of a cartoon feel than a comic book feel to me, even though I read it as a comic. Like,
right.
I remember it as I watched cartoons. That's how I remember this.
Wow.
Like, each one of these issues in my head was, like, animated and, like, a 20-minute cartoon.
Is that a positive or a negative? I
don't know. It's interesting. Like, so, if I had to pick a negative thing about this book, because I would say I enjoyed it, like, pretty, overall, I'd say I enjoyed it. But I do feel like I would have enjoyed it more if I either read it monthly or if I had only read maybe, like, if there was only 4 of them or something. Because...
Right.
Like, they were similar enough without being one continuous story.
They do have a formulaic, episodic kind of feel to it. Yeah.
So it feels like something if I read, one a month, or like if it was a cartoon that you watched once a week or something.
Right.
It feels like it would be more of a treat as opposed to just binging it. Like, I read it all in 2 days. Like, I read 4 one day and 4 the next day. And
Thor one day. Thor the next.
Oh, that's what I did. Yeah. But I maybe would have enjoyed it more if it would have been more spaced out in my reading.
I can see that. I buy that argument.
Mm-hmm.
I've also got a couple negative things to say, and by that, only one of them I would say is an actual negative, but not a detrimental one per se. Is that this is a very different take on Thor than I've ever read.
Yeah.
And I'm not the biggest Thor fan in the world. Part of it is that I've always felt the book like kind of has always taken itself too seriously, and seems to just want to just get right at you with you know, the Shakespearean speech, and that kind of thing.
It's hard to read sometimes.
But what goes with that is the giant, crazy Jack Kirby world building and insanity that he put into that book, and you know, was carried on, you know, by Walt Simonson and most of the others that followed,
especially Walt.
Yeah. This does not have a lot of that.
No, it's pared down.
It is super pared down. And that is the only thing that I could really say is the one detrimental negative, is that it could have maybe used a little more Kirby craziness.
Yeah, right.
That said, maybe it was building to that. We don't know.
Yeah.
Because it got canceled.
Yeah.
And that is the other negative, is that it just kind of ends.
Yeah, right. It does feel like it's wrapped up rather quickly.
Yeah. You cannot read these 8 issues. It was an 8-issue series total. I think there's 2 volumes in trade. You cannot go into it expecting to read a full, complete story.
Yeah.
Because throughout, like I said, every issue is mostly a standalone. There are threads that continue through each one, and they're definitely setting up plot lines that
just peter out. Some characters just never reappear that you're like, obviously there was something going on there.
Right.
So yeah, that does hurt it a little bit. But just a little bit.
Yeah. And that is not anything due to the fault of any of the creative team.
Yeah.
That's just, it's actually due to the fault of comic book readers who didn't support a good book.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was one of those things where, so it had probably a couple of things working against it. Like we mentioned earlier, it came out probably at a time where like 3 other Thor miniseries came out because they were pushing for the movie, and a regular monthly Thor was still going on, maybe even 2. Who knows?
Right.
But so it was one of those things where there's probably a lot of Thor in the marketplace, and it got a reputation early on, and you know, probably justifiably so, as being more of a kids book,
right?
Which typically just they don't sell well unless there's something like, you know, SpongeBob or something that's very like popular with kids. Kids don't buy a whole lot of superhero books, and when they do, they buy the regular superhero book.
Right.
They don't really buy the kids version of it. So this kind of got labeled as a kid's book, and so like the kids weren't really that interested, and the adults weren't really that interested, so it just kind of got lost.
I will say also, and I think this may have been viewed as a ding against it, even though for me I was perfectly fine with it. It is very heavy on the characterization and the relationship between Thor and Jane, which I liked.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was incredibly enjoyable and very well rounded and fun and sweet.
Yeah, it was.
But you know, I think your average comic fan is probably not super into that.
Yeah, they're like, when's Jane Foster going to get in a swimsuit?
Right? Yeah.
If there's going to be a dame in the book, she's got at least got to peel some of them layers off.
Maybe that's why everybody hates Thor chick.
Oh yeah,
because her costume is not skimpy enough.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Fix that, Marvel.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a fun book, and it is too bad that it didn't get to finish up the storyline.
Yeah.
But they obviously knew it was coming, and they wrapped it up in a way that was satisfying. It just wasn't didn't reach its full potential.
No,
so.
yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, there's like a subplot going on with Loki that I mean never really comes to any kind of fruition. I mean, he appears twice
Right.
throughout. You know,
Even the villain from like the last story, like the little robot story at the end,
right,
you don't really get a satisfying conclusion to that.
right. Yeah, it felt like there was something bigger happening there, and just sort of ends.
Right.
But I mean, up until then, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, it is.
Thor fighting, Mr. Hyde in the first 2 issues.
Yeah, it's an odd choice. Right?
It is an odd choice, but I liked it.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah. He gets to meet, some other, superheroes. Like the Captain Burton one is great.
Yeah, it was cool. That was really good.
I also really liked the Namor issue, just to see like how their relationship played through that story.
Oh man, I liked it because Chris Samnee draws underwater creatures and environments like amazingly well.
I think we can just safely say that all 8 issues drawn by Chris Samnee are just fucking great because of Chris Samnee.
He's really good.
Yeah. And he's only gotten better.
Yeah. I haven't read what is he doing Daredevil now?
No, he's currently on Captain America.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think he went from this to Daredevil. And then he's been working with Mark Waid pretty much since. They did a long run on Daredevil. They did Black Widow together, and now they're on Cap.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I forgot he did Black Widow. I read the first issue. That was cool.
I'm having a hard time reconciling a general distaste for Mark Waid and enjoying Mark Waid's work.
Right.
If you kind of get what I mean.
What's your distaste? Where's that stem from?
So back in the 90s, I was a huge Mark Waid fan.
Okay.
Like, I read his initial run on Captain America. I read The Flash, and I loved him so much. Even Kingdom Come at the time, I was like, this is great. And just some of his other books here and there that I would read. I was like, these are fantastic.
Yeah.
And then something happened where it turned, and like everything that I read from him was kind of terrible. And so I just wrote him off after a while. Like, I was like, I've given him a fair chance. Like everybody hits a rough spot, but boy, this guy just kind of just turned the corner and went to craps real fast. And then over the last couple of years, like I've read a couple of things here and there by him, and I've really enjoyed them. And yet I still have that sort of lingering,
right?
It's like, but wait, he's terrible, kind of thing.
I have not read nearly as much of his stuff as you have, but I like everything I've read by him.
Yeah.
I think he's a solid writer. To me, he's one of those like Peter David type writers where like everything I've read I kind of enjoy, but nothing I love or hate. Like it's just like, okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah. And I mean, that's entirely on me. And I'm sure he's a perfectly nice guy. He, has been to like every gym city for the last 5 years or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I've been to his comic store in Muncie. I mean, he's probably a swell, okay dude.
Yeah. I
just, for a while, just really disliked what he was writing, and I've stuck my brain in that mode that this is a writer to avoid.
Right.
Yet everything that I've wound up reading by him in like the last 5 years has been pretty goddamn good.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he's writers go through different periods of their life. Maybe he was going through a period that he was writing, from a different perspective or whatever, and you just didn't enjoy that perspective.
It's true.
But I'm curious, maybe if you go back and read something that you remember disliking, maybe you might like it more.
Could be. It's very possible. Or, if I go back and read some of his older stuff that I really liked, maybe I'll have a different opinion. I don't know. But, yeah. So, anyway. He's been... Chris Samnee, Mark Waid, they've been working together a while.
They're a good team.
They apparently are.
Yeah.
Although, if I recall correctly, I think Chris Samnee took a lot of the forward momentum on Black Widow. Like he was sort of the driving power behind that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I feel
Okay.
like Mark Waid was just sort of there to like, you know,
Keep it.
keep it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Somney was like co-writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he's co-writing Captain America as well, but so far, like 3 issues in, I think, to the new series. It's been good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then so we've talked a lot about Chris Samney here,
Yeah.
but the other major factor in Thor: The Mighty Avenger is Roger Landridge,
Yeah.
who I've actually been a fan of for quite a while.
I've never heard of him.
I believe Fred the Happy Clown is his book.
I've never heard of that.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you were maybe the one that pointed me in that direction like 15 years ago or so.
Maybe you were having a rough day, and I was like, "You should go hang out with a happy clown," and you thought I meant.
It's very possible.
Yeah, I don't recognize Fred Lingridge.
Okay. Roger Langridge.
Or Fred the
Yeah.
Happy Clown.
Yeah.
Roger Lingridge.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
Man, I really feel like because at the time, back when I was working at Mavericks, back in the early 2000s, I was buying a bunch of indie books, and that was one that I like picked up fairly regularly.
Huh.
And I feel like you were kind of an influence on some of the stuff I was picking up then.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe if I saw the cover or something, I'd be like, "Oh, that thing."
Yeah, it's kind of a old-timey hobo-looking clown. The patches and the flower on his hat.
That does sound familiar, actually. Who published it? Do you know? Just like him.
I can't say for sure. I'm pretty sure Dark Horse did like some reprints of it at some point, maybe.
That's weird. Yeah, maybe I'll have to look that up.
I don't know. But he also wrote some Muppet comics.
See, I've never heard of the Muppets. What is that?
They're like puppets.
So like CGI puppets.
They're actual puppets.
No, I don't like that.
I know it's frightening.
CGI that shit. It's easier.
I mean, okay. So I know you're a huge fan of like the Star Wars prequels.
Oh yeah.
And so
the
Yoda,
good ones. You mean the good ones?
the good ones, right? So Yoda in that,
Great.
right?
Good stuff.
So
When he's hopping around and shit
yeah,
with his lightsaber.
right. So he's a CGI puppet, like you like,
as it should be.
right? But like 30 some years earlier, he was in another Star Wars movie.
Oh, the ones before they really knew how to do CGI.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Those the travesties, I call them.
Right. So, but he was in that one, and he wasn't CG. He was an actual puppet. He was
Yeah.
actually a Muppet.
Like some guy's hand was up his butt.
Some guy's hand was up his
That's
ass.
sick.
Yeah,
It's
no,
sick.
Yep.
Children watched that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's just horrible.
I know. It also had incest.
I know, it is. It's puppet incest.
No, the early Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. No, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, okay.
I like it better when it's CGI incest, but I can
Who
live
doesn't?
I can live with it, though. But he told a good story. Like
He did.
Honestly, it started off, I wasn't so sure. I was like, I think in the middle of the first issue, I had the thought that I was going to like the series for the artwork, but not for the story.
Mm-hmm.
There was just something about the first issue that, like, I hadn't quite figured out the tone yet. I didn't realize it was as light, and I just thought it was maybe poor writing until I got into the second issue, and I was like, okay, I can kind of. But I do feel like, because there's a recap at the beginning of each issue of previous stuff, and I honestly feel like you really should just start with issue 2, because issue 1 is basically perfectly fine as a 3-panel wrap up in issue 2. I honestly think I would have enjoyed it more if I would have just started with issue 2.
All right, that's fair. But I liked issue 1. I mean, I will say that the previously pages are pretty well done.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And it definitely makes like I read all the previouslys.
Me too.
Like even though I had just read that issue.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did too, just to see if there was like anything that they were like, really just reminding you of, like a certain panel, like something that was really gonna,
play a part.
Yeah, but it didn't necessarily always work that way. It was just kind of like, here's what happened.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I think part of it is issue 1 deals a lot with Jane's boyfriend Jim.
Yep.
Which
who sort of just never comes back.
He's never in anything after issue 1.
Right.
And I don't really like the character of Jim, and not just him, but like probably the way he's written too. I don't really like, because he kind of 180s for no reason, and like kind of unbelievably, and I think issue 1 was the weakest issue, I believe.
I'll give you that. There's still working out kinks.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with your assessment of Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I did. I really, really enjoyed this book, and
it was fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like, has like kind of a Madman, Mike Allred Madman feel to it. Just like a light, fun hero with a little bit of romance, and
this is definitely the type of Thor comic that I would still continue to read if it was being published.
I would probably not have it on my file and read it monthly, but I'd be like, anytime that I was, like there was a week where I just didn't really have any books to read or something, I'd be like, I'm just going to pick up issue 37 of Mighty Thor, and I would read that.
Yeah.
Because, they're fun, but I don't feel like I would be addicted to it.
I agree. Yeah, I can see that. So Thor, Mighty Avenger.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good luck finding them.
Yeah, like you said, there's a couple of trades, and I think there's a deluxe collection that has all 8 issues with some like bonus stuff. I think there's one that has like sketches and stuff in the back of it, but
all I know is I bought the first 4 issues at Mavericks as a bundle.
Oh yeah.
In your bundle box,
mm-hmm.
and then it took me for fucking ever to get the last 4.
Right.
And the very last issue being the hardest of the bunch to find anywhere.
I bet that print run is really low on issue 8.
Yeah.
I bet that's the kind of comic investors should be buying.
Probably.
Because it's probably like half the print run of a normal Marvel book.
Yeah. It's I enjoy the hunt occasionally for some comics.
Yeah.
But that was one where I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to have to order this online.
Yeah.
And got it on like mycomicshop.com or something.
I'm like that whenever it gets down to the last one.
Yeah.
Like I love I have a list in my phone of, I think there's like a dozen different titles that I'm missing between, 2 to 7 copies of. And I'm like, if I find these in a $1 box, like I'll get excited about it. But when it gets down to I only need one of them, I'm like, okay, I gotta buy that shit. I need it tonight.
Right. No, yeah. Because you want to have it done.
Yeah.
Completed. Yeah.
Right. Because chances are, when you're down to one issue,
it's harder to find.
You're not going to find that one in the $1 box. But you might as well, like, if you're going to, if you need like a dozen issues of Captain America or whatever, you'll find some of them in the $1 box.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So Thor, Mighty Avenger. Good stuff.
As are $1 boxes. I think we've learned both of those things today.
Very much so. All right, want to take a break?
Sure.
Excellent.
So, Thor.
Thor.
I guess he's in a new movie. Ish. Newish.
Newish, yeah.
I still have not seen that movie.
Really?
I should probably see that.
Probably. I think, at least as of last weekend, I still feel it was playing some places.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
I enjoyed the crap out of it.
Okay. Yeah.
It is very different than the prior two Thor movies, but in good ways.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, the Thor movies that I saw, which are Thor 1 and Thor the Second.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them both, but neither one of them are in my favorite of Marvel movies.
See, that's weird. I actually rank them pretty high in the pantheon of the Marvel films.
Nice.
I really enjoyed those movies. Like, way more than I think anybody else ever did.
Yeah.
And also, as I stated earlier, not really a Thor fan.
Right.
So, very shocked how much I really liked those movies.
But you like Loki, right?
I do.
Yeah. And he was really good in that.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed them, but just,
sure.
Not as much as I enjoyed, like, the Iron Man movies or the Guardians movies.
I feel like that's probably the majority of most people, how they feel about the Thor movies.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll see Ragnarok sometime.
Yeah, as you should. As you should. Yeah. All right. Good night.
So I hope everyone had happy holidays.
Yeah, I guess. Likewise.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care about you or your life.
Yeah. So it's
2018.
It is 2018. It's kind of. I'm still getting used to it.
Sure. Still writing 2017 on all your checks.
Every one I've written so far this year. Yeah. You're talking about my cereal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, still right. With a Sharpie on each one. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else happening?
What'd you do over the holidays?
Some family was in town and we hung out and we went to the art museum. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I saw the Alphonse Mucha, which I always thought it was Mucha.
Yeah.
But I was told it was Mucha.
Yep.
But there was an Alphonse Mucha exhibit here in Dayton, and I've liked his work since I was in my 20s when I first saw it on like heavy metal album covers.
Sure.
but no, I had a girlfriend like 15, 20 years ago who was really into his artwork and had like some of his books, and I was like, man, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they had a bunch of his prints there, and you actually saw the exhibit before I told me how good it was. I'd heard it was there, but I just hadn't made it until like 2 days before it ended. Yep. So that was really neat to see.
I was hoping to see it a second time, but just didn't work out for me. But I did see it about a little over a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
something like that.
It was awesome.
It was pretty great, and it was definitely one of those things where like halfway through it, like I kind of like got really short of breath and like panicky. Just.
Well, your wheat cookies were kicking in though.
Huh?
Oh, your wheat cookies finally
sure.
were kicking in at that point.
Yeah, but also like I was just having that sort of fuck, what am I doing with my life kind of thing. Like his work is amazing.
Yeah,
and to see it up close, and some of them were originals, I believe.
Yeah.
But there were also like proofs of like his work in progress on some of them.
That was pretty great,
and it was enough to nearly shatter me.
Yeah, like his sketches would make my life's masterpiece work pale in comparison.
Right.
Yeah, he was pretty great. But I seriously, like, I think I texted you. Mucha uses whiteout.
Yeah.
And he uses, like, arguably the best whiteout I've ever seen because it's almost 100 years old and that shit is still white.
Yeah.
Like, everyone needs to buy the Muka whiteout, whatever he was using. Like, if he was still around and he could do advertisements for that,
Yeah.
he should. Because, yeah, there was a magazine cover. It was like a pen and ink cover to some sort of fanzine thing or something. No,
This Garbage Pails Kid fanzine.
Muka loved Garbage Pail Kids. I was trying to think of a really great Muka Garbage Pail Kid name. like I don't know, pooping Muka or something. There's nothing that rhymes with Muka.
No, yeah.
But anyway, no, that illustration of that cover was my favorite thing without a doubt in that exhibit, and it was just like, it was like a little looser, but it still had a lot of his, like, stippling style. It reminded me, it totally reminded me of Mobius artwork, actually, like
Yeah,
the way
the
way he like stippled and stuff, and it was beautiful, and there was definitely whiteout, and it wasn't like in the Charles Burns art book, it wasn't from him making a decision change.
Right.
It was a mistake that he fixed, and I loved seeing that.
Right. I apparently must have missed that when I saw it. But yeah, I was at work and I got a text from you. And it was like, Muka uses whiteout. And like I stared at my phone and I was like, I don't understand what any of this means. It took me a minute to like remember that, oh yeah, you were going to that.
Yeah, that exhibit. Yeah.
And I just started laughing.
It was awesome. You know what, too, it struck me during that whole exhibit was because, so if for some reason, the listener's not familiar, he primarily is known as like poster art. He did posters for like plays and movies, or not movies, but plays and events and things like that. But he did a lot of product advertisement.
Yep.
And there was one thing on there that was like, it was like an unused sheet that like wrapped around a biscuit tin, and it had 3 like like horizontal images that you would see on the various sides of the biscuit tin, and that, totally made me not in style so much, but just in comparison to a modern day artist, it totally reminded me of James Jean, as far as someone who clearly doesn't have to be doing biscuit tin or whatever wine art, like, because James Jean's done some like wine bottle art.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are guys that could definitely just sell paintings and prints for thousands of dollars and sustain their living, but they also do that kind of stuff occasionally to like, I don't know if it's,
I'm sure part of it is the paycheck.
Part of it's the paycheck, but I honestly think part of that too is, like, in my mind, I would maybe it's not as altruistic as this, but to want to have your art in the hands of people who aren't just art snobs. Like, to think like somebody that's buying biscuits gets to see my artwork. Somebody that's like walking into the Arrow Wine on Dorothy Lane, which I did. I walked into the Arrow Wine and bought a James Jean wine bottle a few years ago.
Well, that's because you're a nerd.
I am a nerd. I specifically went there looking for his wine bottles, but like, to me, it's kind of cool that they do stuff that does allow people to afford it, where they, like, can just buy like something that has their artwork on it, as opposed to a painting or a expensive hoity-toity thing that people, like, even if they could afford it, like, to buy a print, a lot of people don't have room, or like they can't justify buying a print, but they could buy biscuits because they're gonna fucking eat them, you know. So, like, I love that there is things like that in there.
I certainly do not have a similar view of why they probably did that kind of thing. They probably needed the money, and it was available work, and they took it.
Sure.
I doubt that it was any kind of thought process of, the little people will be able to enjoy my glory.
Well, either way, I love the thought that some people did get to enjoy that.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure it was not nearly as anything like that. It was like, fuck, I need a water heater. What can I do?
Yeah, because James Jean's done like like really high end, like exhibit type things and like artwork for Prada. But then he also does like skateboards and wine bottles, and it's not like an $80 bottle of wine. It was like a $10 bottle of wine, so it wasn't even expensive, the one I bought. So it's kind of cool that
he's done movie posters recently.
Yeah,
he did 2 posters for Darrenofsky's Mother, and one for The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
So his art's out there.
Yeah, it's true.
I do, for some reason, recall something about because he was doing covers for Fables.
Oh, James Jean or Muka.
James Jean.
Okay. Muka doesn't do a lot of Vertigo work.
No, he did a run of X-Men covers.
Oh, those were nice. Yeah.
And actually, I was going to say about Muka is that if you're not familiar with his work, you've definitely seen the influence of his work.
Yeah.
A lot of comic artists have done very
Frank Cho for sure.
Frank Cho for sure. I've seen Joe Quesada,
Liefeld.
Yeah, it's very Art Deco with a lot of very ornate borders and just
yeah. It's usually like a vertical rectangle, no background, but like filigree and a very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Pinup style, but not cheesecake style.
Right. But no. What was I saying? James Jean.
Oh, James Jean. Yeah.
So he was doing Vertigo covers and then he stopped and kind of just left comics altogether.
Yeah.
And then I remember reading an article he just went away for a while and then was just broke and living on the streets in China or something like that.
That's so weird.
And then just started being able to make art for a living only within the last couple of years.
That's so weird. So weird. Because I know he's 10 years ago-ish, he was probably banking because of this kind of stuff he was doing.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he had some sort of bad habit or just
I don't know.
Or what happened.
I also could entirely be making this up.
He seems like an odd dude. I actually met him once.
Oh, yeah?
He was at one of the first TCAFs I went to,
Okay.
and there was literally no one at his table, and he had some issues of Meat House on his table, and he had a Fantastic Four art print that for some reason I didn't buy, and I'm kicking myself because it was amazing. I mean,
Right.
It's fucking James Jean, so you can imagine what it looks like. But yeah, he was just kind of like not talking really and not really doing anything, just kind of straightening his table and I just kind of looked at his stuff and he just kind of, he wasn't really ignoring me like a dick. He just kind of was he just seemed, just not present,
Yeah.
It was really, he seemed like an odd dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's amazing. I love his artwork so much.
As do I.
And he did, I know he did something. Oh, we got a Turtles statue in recently where he designed all the turtles in Shredder, and they're all interlocking, and
Yeah.
they're like $120 statues, but they're pretty cool looking.
They're pretty fucking awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing some of his concept art for that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great designer.
Yes, he is.
And he's one of those people that I think really utilizes computer technology for artwork in a way that I highly respect, because you can tell he does a lot of tangible artwork and then he augments it with a computer, and I think it just looks so much better after he does that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't overdo it, which I think is great.
I don't know how much he uses. I mean, I'm sure he uses some, especially for his printed work.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff I've seen him do is full on just pen, ink, and paint.
Yeah, he does a ton of that.
Yeah.
But for a lot of the covers, you can tell there's anytime there's, I don't know, somebody with a whip or something, the whip is just so perfectly.
I think that's all him.
But it's made out of light.
I think that's all him. I really do.
It's crazy. If that's true, it's crazy.
No, yeah. Some people are just abominations in the eyes of God, and he might be one of them.
I think James Jean is one of the best artists. I've I've seen very few pieces of art that are better than the best James Jean artwork.
Yeah.
Like, very few.
Yeah. No, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
He's good.
Like, yeah, even his weakest piece is still miles above, like, anybody else.
Oh, yeah. Like, I would probably buy a collection of his Batgirl covers.
Right.
You know?
Because they're fucking amazing.
Yeah. Right? I mean, nothing against Batgirl. I'm sure I would read those and enjoy them, but they would not be on my radar of, like, things I need to own.
No, yeah.
But the covers, yeah.
Absolutely, I would buy a collection of those covers.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. But, yeah. Huh.
So, yeah. Do anything on New Year's Eve?
No, I was barely even awake at midnight. Like, I had almost fell asleep on the couch at like 10:30, just kind of hanging out. And, yeah, I didn't really do anything.
Kids or anything?
Yeah, we had the kids. It was their first New Year's Eve to stay up till midnight ever.
Nice.
So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was asleep by 12:15. So.
Well, you texted me at like 12:14.
Yeah. I stand by my previous statement. I was literally like crawling into bed and I was like, I should say Happy New Year to Eric. And I did, and then I went to sleep.
Yeah. I believe I was up for like 3 more hours after
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
If not longer.
Were you wearing your adult diaper so you could watch the ball drop without having to leave your spot?
Yep.
Even though you were watching the ball drop from, TV and on the couch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to move.
You don't want to lose that
The
spot.
bathroom was all the way upstairs. So.
Right. We were talking earlier where I'd heard today that someone read where some of the people in Times Square, in an interview, talked about wearing adult diapers so they could stand there all day and not lose their spot.
Right.
And that we were both, me and you, just horrified by that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's horrifying.
It is.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I don't let it come to that, people.
Please.
Like,
do not.
That's,
the thing
just because you can do something doesn't mean you
it
should.
already has come to that, though.
I know.
Clearly.
It's a bummer.
I will safely say this. If anybody that I personally know were to have done something like that, they would no longer be friends.
Now, how about
Trump supporter purposefully wearing adult diapers?
they equate?
Yeah. We're done.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about, like, just like having a party one night where everyone wears, like, as a theme, everyone wears an adult diaper?
Nope.
And just drinks until they piss themselves?
Mm-mm. Well, first of all, I don't do parties.
Because I've heard of that, too. Which is gross, too.
Nope. That's... Yeah. Oh, God.
I know, right?
What is wrong with people?
There's a lot. There's a whole lot. It's going to be longer than our comic artist reading list. There's more than 1,000 things wrong with people.
Yes. I would agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Did you have a fun New Year's then?
I had an alright one.
Yeah.
I decided to take a little vacation and went down to Florida to visit my friend Carrie.
Sweet.
Hung out with her and just hung out, eat some really good food. I will say, I was a little disappointed that it's Florida and it was a little too cold to even wear shorts, let alone go swimming. In fact, it got down to like upper 40s, like on my last day there. Yeah. Now, I didn't complain about it at all because I knew that when I was coming home, it was going to be negative whatever.
Sure. Where people wouldn't be wearing shorts?
Right, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I saw a guy at my work 2 days ago wearing shorts and a mink coat.
Of course he was.
Yes. And guess what he bought? He bought like $30 worth of
Magic?
90s Marvel hologram cards.
What?
He was like a beast from another world. It's like, thank you for blessing me with this visage of the great beyond.
I think one of the last times that I was hanging out at Mavericks before my trip, it was like you, me, and one of the other employees, and just hanging out. And I looked outside, and there was a fat guy in shorts walking up to. And I was like, "Yep, fat guy in shorts. It's a Maverick customer." And it was,
Even though it was only 30, 20 degrees,
right,
whatever.
yeah. I think there was a blizzard that night. Yeah.
Hey, when you're hot, you're hot.
Exactly.
If you got legs like that, you gotta show them off.
But no, yeah. So the last time I went to Florida, and this time I went to there's a particular restaurant near where my friend lives, and like I decided that like I think I would just fly down to Florida just to go have breakfast there.
Wow.
Like literally, like find out a way to just fly there for the morning and then fly straight back.
Wow.
And like I would
It's that
bring
good.
people, and like I wouldn't even tell my friend that I was in town because I'm just stopping for a quick bite.
Right?
It is the best food I've ever eaten.
What's the deal with it? What's the uniqueness of it?
Well, the fact that everything's fucking amazing.
No, that's pretty unique.
You would enjoy some of it. They definitely have a heavy vegetarian section to their stuff. It definitely reminds me of a place that probably should be open in Yellow Springs.
Oh, okay.
But they're only open from 8 a.m. to 3.
Okay.
And just everything is just so goddamn tasty.
Wow.
To the point where I ordered a sandwich. It was a pork barbecue sandwich that had a thing that shouldn't exist, which was tomato bacon jam.
Huh.
On the like coating the bread. Again, not a thing that should exist in nature, but it's fucking amazing. 2, it had coleslaw on the sandwich. I hate coleslaw. I ate every goddamn bite of that thing.
I'm surprised you ordered it, or did you not know it had coleslaw?
I forgot. Like I was gonna order it without the coleslaw, and like it came with it, and I was like, "What is this leafy substance in my sandwich?"
Right.
And they made me eat coleslaw, and I didn't hate it.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah,
I mean, I actually like coleslaw if it's done right.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not something everybody likes. So.
No, I hate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it. I've always hated it.
Wow.
Hate it, and was perfectly okay with eating it.
Nice.
It also doesn't hurt that they have a 22-ounce mimosa.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Actually, I'm kind of craving some alcoholic beverage right now.
yeah. I've got some cider.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, just went down there and had a good time. Didn't really go comic shopping, but on my way back, we because I flew in and out of Orlando, which is about 2 hours or so from where my friend lives. So I had a late flight into Orlando, so we decided that hey, let's go hang out, and maybe find a comic book shop to go to. And we picked one. It wasn't great.
Was it the zombie comics or something?
Living Dead comics.
Living Dead comics. Yeah, I remember you texted me about that.
Yeah, it was a very small store. They had dollar boxes. I wound up buying like $20 worth of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very cramped. The guy who ran it is very definitely sort of your stereotypical comic store owner.
So very helpful and friendly.
Yeah.
Well groomed.
Yeah, yep. Could hear him breathing, from across the store. Yeah.
That's comforting.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you could feel like you're alone, but
Yeah.
even though he's 40 feet away, it feels like he's right over your shoulder.
Right.
That's nice.
Certainly, was helped by the fact that he had a full size Harley Quinn statue, like in the back issue section of the store that I just kept seeing out of the corner of my eye and freaking out.
Because it's like life size.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, who's this? Oh, yeah.
Did it look like it was something like officially produced, or
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it wasn't like something he'd lovingly made out of his mother's hair in the basement, or
No, I feel like it was from like Arkham Asylum or something.
Okay.
Like that, yeah. It was definitely a slutty Harley.
okay,
Yeah. But yeah, it was weird.
that's creepy.
Yeah, they had some okay stuff, but yeah, for the most part, it was not anything that I'd
Right.
like. If it was here in Dayton, it was definitely the store that I can avoid going to that one.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, but bought some books anyway. So
It's always fun to visit new comic shops.
yeah. They had one in Orlando that apparently has a bar attached to it.
Oh, see, that's cool.
We did not get a chance to go to that one. I did do two things on my vacation that I was pretty sure I was never gonna do.
Yeah.
And
One was eat coleslaw.
three things that I was pretty sure I was never gonna do. One was eat coleslaw. The second was I watched The Force Awakens.
Wow.
And the third was I watched The Last Jedi.
Now, do you know those are both Star Wars films, right?
I am aware.
Yeah.
I am
Okay.
aware.
I didn't know you watched Force Awakens. I heard that you went and saw Last Jedi, but well.
Yeah, well, I figured, my friend wanted to see Last Jedi, and then she had not seen it up to that point, and I knew that she had been planning to, and I figured, well, it's not like I'm doing anything else.
Sure.
Go see Last Jedi, I was like, but I haven't seen any of the other Star Wars up to this point, so I guess I should probably see Force Awakens to know what the hell's going on.
Sure.
So we rented it on Amazon, and I watched it, and I liked it
Yeah. Did you feel disappointed in yourself?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I was very confused
Well, sure.
because
You're not supposed to like that.
right,
Yeah.
and then we saw The Last Jedi, and I also really like that.
It was a lot better than Force Awakens, I thought.
Yeah, I will say this for it: there was a fuck ton going on in that movie.
Yeah.
There was a
Right.
whole lot of Star Wars happening. In that.
Yeah.
Like, it seriously felt like it was 3 different movies all in one.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And I will say that my curiosity for Last Jedi was amped up more because of the general sort of hater feedback on it.
Oh, yeah.
That just was like, well, if all these people hated it, then I probably should see it because I'd probably like it.
Right, yeah.
Because these assholes are just awful.
Yeah.
And I think that came true. But yeah, I like Star Wars.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm still not fully settled in to that way of thinking, but I mean, I probably will have to see the next one.
So next time I come over, you're going to be wearing like a Boba Fett t-shirt?
I'm already making them. I'm just hand making my own Star Wars clothing and merchandise.
Oh, I want a Dengar onesie. I want an apron that says "Kiss the Cook" or something with Dengar's face. Yeah, I really enjoyed The Last Jedi. I thought it was very good. I had no idea that Laura Dern was in it until I was watching it.
Oh, yeah.
But that was cool. We like Laura Dern here at the Gutter Trash Studios.
We do indeed. Yeah, I was very surprised how much I enjoyed both of those movies.
Yeah.
I did not want to, but there they are.
Now you have seen, like maybe, I'm not gonna say a long time ago in a galaxy far away, but a long time ago you did see the original trilogy.
I have
right?
seen the original
Okay.
trilogy.
Yeah.
I will say this. I saw Return of the Jedi in the theaters when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever age I was, 5, 6.
1983.
whatever. Right. Never saw Star Wars or Empire all the way through until I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were constantly on HBO, but, like, I never managed to stay awake for any of them.
Yeah.
Like whenever they were on, because my parents occasionally would turn it on. And then I was sick a lot as a kid. So they were there, but I never saw them sequentially
Right.
100% all the way through until they did the special editions.
Yeah.
And I saw all three of them like when they were releasing there. And thought they were just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I saw Phantom Menace and said, I'm done.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Yeah. That's like a good stopping point until
Right.
these new ones, yeah.
So I've definitely played up my anti-Star Wars sort of attitude, like, way more than I actually feel about Star Wars.
Sure.
Like, I've never hated Star Wars. I just
You felt it was
fine.
grossly overrated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're perfectly okay movies.
It's the Beatles of movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's sort of the level of fandom that people have for them that I just don't get.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even for things that I fucking love,
Mm-hmm.
like, I still can't reach that level of fandom for that thing,
Right.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Like, you love Annie, the movie.
Yes.
You're always singing, the
Sure.
song will come out tomorrow.
right.
But you don't need to buy all the toys and the posters.
Exactly, yeah.
You got the song, you got the movie,
Yeah.
the back tattoo.
I mean,
That's all you need.
I did camp out for the remake,
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Did you wear your adult diaper?
of course.
Well, you have to. Yeah.
I didn't want to lose my spot in line. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I agree. Like, I actually, I'm in a really weird spot with Star Wars because I actually would say I love the original movies. Return of the Jedi is maybe like the movie I've watched third most out of every movie in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own any Star Wars movies.
Right.
No Star Wars shirts or paraphernalia, sleeping bags, none of that. I
Are you
only
sure?
I only own one toy.
Have I? I could have sworn I've seen you with at least one Star Wars shirt.
I don't.
Like a Boba Fett shirt.
I had an
A
underoos.
Chewie.
I had a Boba Fett underoos when I was a child.
Right.
But the only Star Wars toy I own is a Momal Nadon, a Hammerhead toy that someone gave me last year.
Right.
But like I'm not like I don't collect. I don't have any Dengar toys. No,
Huh.
I don't like most of the Dengar toys. I'm waiting for like Jeff
Really?
Darrow to design one
Oh,
or
okay.
something. But no, I don't get into Star Wars. But I really, really appreciate Star Wars.
Right.
So I'm like kind of right there between like the crazy fan and the casual fan. You
Yeah.
know? Like I'm somewhere between those two.
I would definitely classify myself as again, not even a fan.
Yeah.
Like I've never rewatched the original three movies, like outside of Return of the Jedi, maybe twice.
Wow. Yeah.
Like I've definitely never seen the first Star Wars or Empire more than once.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
And again, like, they're fine.
Right.
I didn't hate them. I didn't love them.
Right.
They're fine. Certainly, there's a certain aesthetic to it that I can totally understand why they became what they became.
Oh yeah. 'Cause
Uh,
they changed a lot of things that came after.
yes.
Yeah.
But like I said, then I saw Phantom Menace, and I was like, okay, well, like I never need to see any of this
I know,
ever
right?
again.
How? Yeah.
And so I was pretty much going into that attitude with the new ones. So I was like, okay,
Right.
this is just money grab, whatever. And the fact that I did really enjoy them, I think, speaks a lot to
How
they are good movies.
the quality, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the idea that there's a lot of like there's a lot of leeway creatively being given to the directors now.
Now, yeah.
And there's so much money behind it that there's probably going to be and there's going to have to be more chances taken because if they're doing like a movie a year, they can't do the same movie every year like they, could have done if they were doing one every 10 years or whatever.
Right.
So I think they're gonna it could be really interesting if there's like, comedies or noir or whatever set in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
I'm really excited to see something like that.
Yeah. Well, like last year I saw Rogue One, which was the first Star Wars movie I'd seen since Phantom, and I can absolutely say that I loved Rogue One, and it is so different than the original trilogy,
totally,
or these two new movies, and that it was because it was just a straight up war movie.
Yeah,
and it was dark. And you knew how it was going to end, but
sort of, but you didn't know exactly how it was going to get there.
Right, yeah. And so I think that opened me up a little bit more to be willing to see the new Star Wars. Right. It certainly didn't hurt that Last Jedi was done by Rian Johnson, who did Brick and Brothers Bloom.
Yeah, he's good.
He's great. I mean, in his filmography, this I feel like it was better than Looper, but not as good as Brick or Brothers Bloom.
I would totally agree with that. Yeah, I think Brick was a much better film.
Yeah. But for being Star Wars and being one of his movies, like it was a great match, and it did like. And again, like this is like literally 6 days ago that I watched both of these movies.
Right.
So it's pretty fresh in my mind. Like Force Awakens did have a lot of the same beats, I feel, as like the original three.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
like there was a lot of paying homage and just like, hey, remember that thing you like? Here's slightly new.
It was reestablishing like a different tone from the prequels.
Yes.
It was reminding you that Star Wars can be good.
Right.
And we just haven't got there yet. It's like, okay, like, see, we can do these kind of things, and we're about to make this really, really good.
Right. And then, Last Jedi, I thought, like, turned a lot of that on its head, and was stylistically, like, very much better than Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And storytelling-wise, I thought was a lot better, too.
Yeah, I agree.
That said, because I'm now apparently entrenched, going into this third one in the trilogy, with J.J. Abrams coming back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to go.
Right.
But it will be also interesting to see how they play Carrie Fisher's death.
Yeah.
Because Leia lives at the end of Last Jedi,
right.
but Carrie Fisher passed away like afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
I'm wondering
if they're just going to do a time jump, or
they'll probably just kind of mention something in the opening crawl.
Right.
Do you know what the crawl is?
Yes, I do know what the crawl is. Yes.
I would imagine that's how they do it, and like some people have said, like that would be disrespectful to do it, but I'm like, look, like they dedicated Last Jedi to her. Like there were some really great scenes with her in it. Like
right.
I don't think they really need to like do anything else in the next movie. I don't think it's disrespectful if they just mention it off screen. Like I don't think they have to, because some people are like, well, they have to mention it on screen and it'll be disrespectful. I'm like, I really don't think so. Like this Last Jedi was kind of like totally. She was like one of the major things in this movie, and the movie was dedicated to her.
Right.
That's probably good.
Yeah. Well, it's like a thing before I saw the movie, like people fucking flipping their lid because Admiral Akbar dies, and like they casually mention it like afterwards, and like people are freaking out, like he should have had like a much grander hero's death.
Right.
It was like Admiral Akbar. Was a fucking joke character.
Yeah, he was
in one movie.
He's memorable because of how ridiculous he was.
Right.
And he was in it for like 4 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's like
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, like just that's kind of the thing about Star Wars fans that just really turns me off on the entire thing altogether.
Oh yeah.
Just that slavish devotion to just characters that ultimately did not matter.
Right.
Like Boba Fett.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it blows my mind. Like, I mean, I get that he looks really cool, and there was like this huge mystique in the 80s, because I remember when people at school were talking about like the toy being recalled because of the missile that launched, and there's all these urban legends about it. like the missile was launched into some kid's eye, and
Right,
like,
right.
but like that toy never even hit the retail shelves, so none of that was true. But there was like this huge mystique around this kind of cool, mysterious character, and I get that,
Right.
but I don't get how that's persisted over the decades.
Exactly. Especially when, like, canonically, like,
Oh my gosh.
he is in the movies maybe 20 minutes over,
Yeah.
and he dies a stupid death.
Yeah. And then when you find out all the backstory,
It's ridiculous.
it's like all the mystery and interest in him is gone when you
Right.
watch the prequels.
Right?
I mean, it's just like that's
It's like telling Wolverine's origin.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't have happened.
right,
Yeah.
exactly, totally.
So you just mentioned the Boba Fett toy, and that is another thing that I have done between the holidays.
You bought a missile launching Boba Fett
I
for
did not.
$2,000.
No, I did not. But I watched a documentary about it.
Oh, the toys that made us.
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
I watched all 4 episodes.
As did I.
They were all good.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Even the Barbie one.
Okay, so I skipped the Barbie one. I was binge watching them, and I skipped the Barbie one, and I was like, I'll see what's after the G.I. Joe one. And there's nothing after the G.I. Joe,
Right.
and so I went back and watched the Barbie one, and which honestly I enjoyed more than the G.I. Joe one. I think I liked the Masters Universe one the best, then Star Wars, then Barbie, then G.I. Joe.
I loved the Masters of the Universe one.
That one's awesome.
Just, out of pure nostalgia.
Yeah.
But the thing that put the G.I. Joe one for me over the edge was the fact that they talked to, like, Jim Shooter and Larry Hama.
Oh, yeah.
And just, like, talked about the comics aspect of
Right.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah. I liked it, but they spent so much time, and I understand why, on the 60s G.I. Joes,
Right.
which I have, like, absolutely no interest in.
Sure.
So, to me, it was all about the 80s stuff, so Master Universe, yeah, I mean, that was my favorite episode,
Yeah.
by far.
And, I mean, those were definitely my favorite toys, like,
Right.
as a kid.
Well, it's weird, G.I. Joe was definitely my favorite toy when I was a kid,
Really?
but now, like, I'm actually starting to collect Master Universe, and this was before I watched this documentary, but I have, like, a half dozen of them. I'm slowly gonna kind of piece together the ones that I had when I was a kid. I'm not gonna buy the ones I didn't have, but because it's 100% just a nostalgia thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I definitely have a fonder place in my heart for Master Universe now than I do for G.I. Joe.
Sure.
Yeah, those are great documentaries.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Yeah. The thing about it is that the theme song says it's an 8-part documentary series, but there's only 4 episodes.
There's got to be 4 more coming.
I hope so.
So I have thought a lot about this. So here's what I sort of hope and expect. Like, it surprises me that there's not already a Transformers episode, so there has to be one coming.
Sure.
But I hope they do a Mask episode.
That'd be nice, but I don't know.
I hope they do a Superpowers episode.
I really hope for superpowers too.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And then I kind of hope they do.
Or maybe just a combo superpowers Secret Wars.
Yeah, see, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that. I was like, I don't know if they should just do a Marvel toy episode in general,
Right.
or, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mask. What was the other one I was thinking? Oh, I had it all figured out. Oh well, I'm sure they'll do a Transformers, no doubt.
Right.
And that's like, to me, it's like really weird that they haven't already. But,
Right.
but I really hope they do a Mask, because there's enough Mask toys that they can have a lot to talk about. Because I mean, there's cool toys like Thundercats and Visionaries that there's just not that many of the toys. So it might be cool to see them do that, or maybe even just do one episode that's sort of a hodgepodge that goes into all the like
Other
knockoffs
80s,
and weird stuff. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool.
like Warlord.
Or Defenders of the Planets.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warlord. That'd be a good one. But yeah, Superpowers would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I would like to see that. But yeah, Transformers for sure has to be one.
Yeah,
of them.
it has to be. Like I honestly thought that would have been before Masters Universe even.
Yeah.
Just because the popularity for Transformers is still,
Right. Yeah.
it's up there.
But yeah, that's on Netflix. If you haven't watched it yet, go do that.
Yeah, they were great. The Toys That Made Us.
Yep. Yeah. Well, speaking of things that you've thought a lot about,
I have. I thought so much that I have to look up the title. No, I just can't remember if it has the word "the" or not. It does not. So
Does it matter?
well, it doesn't, but I
Okay.
wanted to make sure. So I want to pick a book that's it's a bit older.
Okay.
It's odd because it's a foreign book, but it's in English,
Okay.
so it's been translated. But it's called Black Blizzard. It's by Yoshihiro Tatsumi.
Okay. I've never heard of any of this.
Okay,
Is it a manga?
it is a manga, which I have not read,
Okay.
but I have read other stuff by the creator, and
Okay.
I like-
What else has he done?
well, the main thing I think he's known for, I have not read. It's called A Drifting Life. It's like an award-winning manga, but I've read The Pushman and something else, something about Old Tokyo. I've read a couple of his books, and I really liked them.
All right.
So this one is one I have not read.
Okay. Black Blizzard.
Black Blizzard.
And it's a 4-part book?
No, it's just the one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So graphic novel. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Okay. All right. Is it something I'm gonna have to like completely figure out how to read in a different way?
I know you've been reading books back to front
right
already.
So
So
am I gonna have to
you should
read
be-
this
no.
front to back?
This one has been reversed, so it's front to back. So it's
Okay,
going to
I don't like this at all.
be it's been Englishified.
All right. I've told you about my one experience reading a translated manga, right?
Mm-mm.
It was a Batman manga,
Oh yeah,
and there was a small part of the plot is that there's a drug that turns like average citizens into like their favorite supervillains, and so there's like imposter versions of like Joker and Penguin running around, and there's an imposter Two-Face. And Imposter Two-Face, his scarring is on the wrong side throughout the story.
right.
And I was like, well, that's how you know it's an imposter. And
Turns out,
that they just mirror imaged the book to print it for English readers like me.
so it flow panel wise.
Right? Yeah. And didn't think about that. So
Yeah, that's. Hopefully, there's nothing like that in this story.
yeah. Well, at least there's not going to be anything that I would recognize because I clearly have never heard of this book or this guy or anything that's associated with them. So veto. No. I'll read your foreign books.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it. I've actually owned it for a while, for like a year or two, and I've just been meaning to read it or pick it, and I haven't done either. So
No.
I figured
Well,
now
you've
would
done
be
it
the time.
now.
Yeah, now's the time.
All right,
no
then.
time like the present.
Right. Well, we're in the middle of blizzards.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to Gutter Trash. You can subscribe to the show from guttertrash.net or from iTunes and leave us a review. Visit guttertrash.net for email information and for other podcasts and websites in the Gutter Trash Network. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.